Hello.
Jared, and that's Greg. We're talking tonight about all kinds of neat shit that's going on right now. So apparently, I got this right. There's some kind of budget debate in the House right now, in Congress, about spending, and the Republicans don't want to spend this and the rest. But what they don't understand is they said the people that won't be getting paid, first one they were going to cut was the veterans and their benefits.
And Social Security.
Social Security, military pay, Border Patrol, I think ICE or some other something. There was a couple other institutions,
What
but
about
they to deal with security of the country and everything.
federal employees that are retired?
They won't
No, the retiree.
retire. Yeah, no, nobody gets paid, bro. Everybody.
Yeah. So, what are these people supposed to do that are on Social Security and VA, and that's what they got to live on?
That's the thing. There's one podcaster or guy on YouTube, TikTok, and something else. He actually called the VA, and the VA told him, said, "Oh, there might be some delays." And he said, "Okay, well, how long are the delays?" They said, "We don't know." He said, "Was it going to be over a month? And are we going to get back pay?" They said, "Oh, that's still up in the air."
Hmm.
Now you telling me that nobody's going to get paid at least a couple of days, much less a couple months, and then we're going to turn around when we don't get paid and not get the back pay to catch up on the bill because there is 16.5 million veterans in the United States right now. That's this year.
Yeah.
Now, over half of them are combat vets. Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan, Gulf War, Storm Shield, uh, all, all of them.
Mhm.
Panama. There was a bunch of conflict. Even though people don't understand, like the Beirut bombing and all this other stuff, it's still a conflict. Somebody went in there, they killed some Marines, and it's still a conflict. I mean, that's just what it is. And I think families did get killed or something like that, but still a damn tragic situation. My brother.
Your audio's cutting out again, man.
Nobody wants to think about the brothers that are going to be gone. So that's just kind of where I'm at with it.
Well, my big fear is if they uh, if they put some of these vets in financial hardship like that, I'm afraid the suicide rate's going to go up.
Not just that, man. The homelessness rate's going to go
Homeless rate's going to go up.
roof because I'm not going to lie, it's going to be tight around my house.
Me too, brother.
So, you know, I mean, it's one of those things. Luckily, my wife has a pretty decent job. Your wife works with my wife, so they both have decent jobs. And you work, so I mean, you have that backup. So I mean, you could survive, but it would just
Yeah,
be really, really tight. And I
yeah.
understand.
I mean, it's
And
going
I
to
mean,
be.
luckily, I mean, the only thing we have is the Harley, the car, and the house. So besides living expense, it won't be too bad. But I mean, you still got around here,
Yeah, I mean, we got another 2 months before we're car payment free on any car, and then we won't have any car payments, and that'll help. But you know, our car insurance just everybody's car insurance just went up. Car insurance went up by what, $150 a month for no
Oh,
apparent reason.
my car insurance went up. My house insurance went up. Dude, my house insurance. my house insurance climbed through the roof. Next year, I have printed out the Zillow and the what other company that
Uh,
Studio or whatever realtor company and stuff, where it has your estimated appraisal. Well, they got me appraised at market value at over 300, right at 300,000 on my house, but everybody else has me about 265,
yeah.
7. So who's gonna have to do it?
But if half of America ain't getting paid, who's gonna buy your house?
It ain't gonna matter, right? Yeah, nobody.
You know.
But that's the whole thing. Me and Mel were looking. We were looking at that really nice house back in Texas, right next door to it. Had 20 acres for sale. Also, same owner. We were going to try to do a TVLB and a home mortgage as a package deal, and we could have done that because once we sold, we had our down payment and our closing costs for everything.
Right.
And that being that, we probably could have got half the closing costs gone because we did it all at once. So we could probably use the same title company and everything else. So most of it would be the same. But I mean, uh, that's out the window right now because we don't even know if we can pay for what we have now.
Yeah.
It- and I'm trying to figure out because they say 16.5 million veterans. I don't know exactly how many are on disability.
Probably not. I would say probably half.
Okay, so let's say 8 million.
Yeah.
8 million. That's a good round. 8 million. And then so we got 8 million veterans that are not going to get paid. And a lot of these, let's say about 4 million of those, well, no, some of them are older now. So let's just, well, no, they still say the veteran population for Vietnam veterans is still over the Iraq and Afghanistan veterans, just because Vietnam was a draft.
Yeah.
That was a draft deal. There was no volunteer service. You know, and we didn't. Luckily, we didn't have a draft here in Iraq. They were talking about it, right? Yeah, hell, they were talking about a draft in Afghanistan. And so we we're a little lower on the note on the totem pole than Vietnam veterans, number wise, number wise. But if you have 4 million Vietnam veterans that all they're living on is Social Security because they're 70 something years old, most of
Hmm. And VA.
them, and your VA. So either you're retired, you're disabled, whatever. And some of them retired, went on to be a government employee and retired there. So they're not going to get any money.
Mm-mm.
So unless they have a pretty good nest egg back there, they're screwed.
Yeah.
Because if they don't pay us for 6 months, I mean that's gonna be tight for us. But it's still doable for us. But some people don't have people can't just go out and get another job. These guys are 70 something years old, half of them can't,
Hmm.
you know. And do you think that they're gonna let all their livelihood and their wives and whatever out on the street and lose everything that they've worked for and have earned their
Mm.
whole life?
Not without making somebody well aware of it.
Oh, they're gonna make a lot of people look aware of it. And I have looked at a bunch of things, and every time you look at a group, Proud Boys, Oath Keepers, what's that other one they just had like a real group said it was some constitution, but I mean I think they were the way it was worded. I think they took it out of context.
Hmm.
Um, as a Nazi group, or it could have been a white supremacy group. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how they feel about it. but they're a military organization. They're a military militia, is what they are. Because hell, they've got their basic training, their food, everything that they do. I mean, they all their training, everything online. I was like, wow, that's all kind of out there for everybody. You think if you're a white supremacy group, you wouldn't be putting that shit on the internet, but you know, it is. But there's a lot of them talking about heading to Washington. There's there's some things, and I know there's going to be a lot more veterans headed that way if they're in jeopardy of losing. They're going to go protest. They're going to yell, scream, fight. You know,
Yeah, unfortunately.
they ain't got nothing else to lose. They're going to
I mean, dude, I got news for you. If I go 2 months without that VA check, I ain't gonna have a place to live
right.
because my wife and I, our check, my wife went Saturday. She went Saturday. She bought just run of the mill dog food for the dog and the cat, and she bought like some eggs and enough stuff to make like 4 or 5 meals for us, and it was a hundred. It was 187.
200 bucks.
Yeah, and it wasn't extravagant meals. We're talking spaghetti with meatballs, the pre-made meatballs or stuff like that. It wasn't anything extravagant. And then you hear the president talking about, in order for us to stave off a recession, which I thought we were already in one, you got to have what is it, 48 million people out of work. Well, I don't understand. If you put 48 million people out of work, that's going to decrease the gross national product of the country. If you reduce the gross national product of the country, then how are we supposed to pay back the debt on this debt ceiling that he wants lifted?
$10 trillion. $10 trillion. Hold up. Get the hell out of
And
here.
it's okay
I
because
can
him,
understand,
it,
you
it's
know,
it's
$2
okay though
trillion
because
to get us over the hump, but that 10 trillion, bro.
well, it's okay though that if you cancel Social Security and all that, because him and his wife don't really need their check. Do you know how much him and his wife make on Social Security?
Mm.
Between the two of them, they get $58,000 a year in Social Security.
Plus his 365,000 uh
Presidential salary
for his president
plus
salary.
plus whatever money she makes.
Shit. Plus,
Yeah,
yeah, Dr. Joe Biden. Yeah,
yeah.
he doesn't understand. He doesn't introduce himself as I am President Joe Biden. It's hi, I am Joe Biden, Dr. Joe Biden's husband. Who
Yeah.
do you really think's running the White House right now?
Nobody.
Some old twat that doesn't know shit. And Kamala's even worse. The military said they don't want her because she can't stand up for anything. Well, neither can Greg Abbott, but that's a different story. But
Come on now.
anyways, it was just one of those things that I I tried to watch a video of her speaking, and she was talking about tomorrow is the day today, and tomorrow. I was like,
Now, now is the time to do what we've always done and do the things that need to be done now. That was my favorite. I can't hear you.
she's a fucking idiot. What do you expect?
Well,
I mean, the only time that she's gonna get ahead in life is when she's on her fucking knees. All right, because that's how she got the position in the first place. With this, I don't fucking
I don't know. I wasn't there, but um, also with all this stuff going on in the military and money, and I'm trying to figure out too. Every military branch is screaming that retention is in the toilet, recruiting is in the toilet, but they're all announcing, but they're all announcing cuts. The Marine Corps is getting rid of the Scout Sniper School. The Army is talking about reducing special forces by like 50%. Uh, the Air Force is talking about doing away with positions altogether. Like, It doesn't make any sense. And then you got all these commanders getting relieved now, like every day. It's Air Force, Army, Navy,
There were
Marine.
3 that was the other day, and then, I mean, they're always in my feed. This guy's getting relieved of duty, 3
Yeah,
corps, this sergeant major, that major general command. I'm like,
yeah,
"Jesus Christ, dude, what the fuck is going on?"
yeah.
Oh, I know why they're getting relieved, because they have the old school mentality, and they don't wanna change the Army doctrine to the new equality, everybody accept that, you know,
Well,
all
unfortunately,
boy, and I all
you
neck
know,
pretend shit. 'Cause
unfortunately for the new generation of people, they need to learn in the real world, everybody don't get a trophy. You know what I mean?
yeah, I know. Okay. Anyways, I just saw we got a chat.
Oh, I didn't. I don't. Oh,
Uh,
there it is.
I don't know. We're on for 3 different views: Facebook, uh,
Oh,
Twitch, Twitter, and
I see. But anyway, back to it. Um, all these commanders getting relieved. I mean, and it's top level people. I mean, it's not like I mean, we're used to seeing lower enlisted and mid level NCOs getting in trouble. I mean, some sergeant at Fort Cavazos got arrested for DWI yesterday. You know,
always getting arrested for DWI.
yeah,
Fucking Gavassos, my bad. Not
yeah,
hood. Fuck.
you know. I mean, the man they renamed it after. He really, if you look at his story and his record,
Oh yeah, I mean,
he's,
he deserves a base named after him.
he deserves something named after him. But I don't think we need to go like our bases need to stay the base they are till they're no longer there. That's just the way I feel about it. It's just it'd be like renaming Dallas, you know, just because. That's just stupid. It's been here 100 years. Leave it alone.
Can't do
But
it.
but
Nobody
anyway,
can shit alone.
but anyway.
Make it their way, or. But what they're not understanding, these young generational kids, and even the goddamn president. I was talking to my buddy Mike the other day, and nobody knows Mike Montez. He's done almost all my ink. Really nice guy. And he is probably the biggest. He is like Shaq for Mexico. Okay, he is probably 6'5", 6'6", big wide guy. I mean, he's just the typical 240 gunner you think of. Carrying that big M60 or the 240, just a huge guy. And he told me yesterday, he was like, "Dude, what the hell is going on in this country?" He was like, "Bro," he's like, "We need to close the border. We need border reform." And I told him, I said, "Man, I'm all about immigration. My wife is an immigrant, also a citizen, and it took us a lot of money to get there. There's a process." Right. And even I was watching a video with AOC. She's like asylum seekers, and he was like, "Well, if they're asylum seekers, they need to go to the port of entry and there's a process." I mean,
Well,
go legally is Title 8.25 something 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 against the Homeland Security and Border Policy. You're not legally in this country, and so therefore you're a fucking stowaway, and we need to take that. Whatever, got it.
well,
But I mean,
you see what they're doing now though with the app, right? Because it amazes me, all these people that are coming across the border, they're telling me how downtrodden they are, how poor they are, how hungry they are. Man, I seen some people on the news that don't look too hungry, and they're wearing nicer clothes than I own, and they all got a smartphone. So the government came up with this app, so now they can download an app when they get to the border. They can fill out the thing on the app, and as long as they can show it to the basically show it to the Border Patrol. The Border Patrol has to let them go because they've already registered. So there's no vetting going on. They're just signing up on the app, and the app sends them a court date, or
Have you
not a
seen
court
some of
date,
the
but
court?
huh?
Have you seen some of the court dates?
Yeah, I know they're like for 2087.
They're like I think the closest one I seen was 27.
Yeah.
Everything was like 30, 34. I'm like, by that time, you already done got a job, a outlet. By that time, there's no more Social Security. There's no more veterans benefits. There's no more
What
absolute nothing.
this is a this
And
is a
then the people bitch about military, and they were like, "Oh, well, why are we so short?" You basically cut the retirement in half after 20 years.
yeah.
You didn't even give the people that were already in a choice because it was in that date range. They give you a date range, and
Hmm.
that's one of those things that hell, I don't even know if I'd have been able to qualify for that date range. And I was in an '03. Hell, I just hit 20 years later. This past February.
Yeah, but the thing about it is, like in my job that I have now, I talk to people all day long that own businesses, mainly restaurants, right? Food trucks, restaurants. I would say one out of every five phone calls, they don't speak English. They're not just Hispanic. They're Asian. They're Lithuanian. They're Italian. Whatever. Don't speak a lick of English. But somehow, without being able to speak English, they got a loan to buy a business, and they got bank accounts, and they own homes, and they own businesses, but they can't speak English other than what's on the menu, basically.
Well, I mean, the federal government has a grant program for
And I mean, I'm all for if you come here as an immigrant and we want to help you get started to be productive in society, okay, but you should have to put out some of that effort. I mean, your wife didn't just magically become a citizen.
had to fill out paperwork. She started out as a student visa, and then she went to a resident.
Right. And it takes years. If you do it the legal way, it takes years.
Oh yeah, it took us. Jesus Christ, I don't even know
But
how.
if you just run across the border now, if you just run across the border now, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, she was worried because her residency was getting close, and she's like, "My residency, it was getting close, or passport or something was getting close." And I was like, "Well, really, it was right in the middle of COVID. They were doing all the contacting
Yeah,
like
they
that.
couldn't send you nowhere anyway.
No, finally, we got all that shit done, and we filed like 18, 17, 18.
Hmm.
She didn't become a citizen. No, she filed in 18 or 19, and she finally became a citizen. What, 20, 21?
Yeah,
It was 3 years. But I mean,
but
everybody. But
I've
we don't
known
have a lawyer or nothing. We did it. She did it herself, and
I've
we did
known
it
people
herself. But it
I've
still.
known people that came here on a student visa, got their education, got sponsored by a company to work for that company. They basically have to work there or they got to leave, right? And I knew one lady, it took her like 22 years.
Mhm.
She had been here 22 years filling out paperwork, going to court dates, paying money. She paid almost $100,000. If I was an immigrant and I was legally here and had gone through that process, I'd be getting what all the other people like me and filing a class action lawsuit against the government. I mean, I want my money back.
I mean, hell, I need the money back. I'm not worried about it. I mean, as long as my wife's legal, she's
Yeah, but the point is, you can't make one group do it and not make another group do it.
well, it's not like she walked across the border. She's from fucking Asia. So I
Well,
mean,
I know.
unless she's like some Michael Phelps fucking Olympic marathon swimmer that I didn't know about, sitting over here looking like Tom Tom Hanks in Castaway or something. Wilson, she floated across or something. I don't know. And she was on an island. So there you go. But
But but my point being,
I
the law is supposed to be laid down equally, right?
supposed to be.
We're all supposed to be equal under the law.
Well, I mean, that's like this new Democratic Supreme Court justice they have. Did you see that shit? They found they found the Supreme Court justice sending financial campaigns to the Democrats that was trying to vet the Supreme Court justice. If that ain't a fucking payoff right in front of the American people, man, them dudes 2% tax, and we went to fucking war with goddamn England. I don't know about Americans, but we become pussy. We were
Well,
worse off. I mean, we let the
we,
government do
we've
everything.
got we've gotten too used to the government taking care of us on things that they don't need to take care of us on. It's just like the homeless situation in America, right? And the widows and orphans situation in America, right? Historically in America, do you know whose job it was to take care of that?
Uh-huh.
The church.
Oh yeah,
Churches,
oh
but the government came in and took that away from the churches.
yeah. All the churches had orphans. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was back in even in Europe. That was the same way.
right.
I mean, that's actually where it kind of started. Is we brought it over from Britain. The Quakers did. But I mean, back then, back then, the whole thing was. I mean, all of America was based on the Christian belief of
But
you
see,
know
this is part of the problem now.
you put the
The
God word in there, we get banned. I don't understand this.
Well, part of the problem right now is NGOs. Non-government organizations are helping these immigrants be here illegally, and it's churches, right? And it's mainly one particular denomination, which I shall not name because it's not my business to do so. But there's one major contributor to that problem. I'm not saying other churches ain't involved either, but there's one church that's a big supporter as an NGO of these immigrants, and they've been doing it for years. They've been smuggling them in, keeping them in safe houses, and saying, well, they're being threatened with death in their home country. Well, you know what? If you're being threatened with death in your home country, it's not a problem for you to come to the border and be like, look, this is what's going on, and request asylum.
Yeah, and that's exactly what the Homeland Security guy said. He said we have points of entry for that reason. If you go to the point of entry and says, "Hey, this is what's going on with my country. I want asylum," and they'd be like, "Okay, well here, fill this paperwork out and come on in here," and they do their thing, and now they give them all the asylum and the refugee stuff and all the paperwork and temporary holds or whatever they've got to do. I don't know how all that shit works, you know,
I mean,
but
dude, I served in the military in one of the branches that I was in with an immigrant from Cuba, very well educated man. Him and his brother wrote a book against Castro, and it got published on the underground publishing over there, and the government got a hold of it and basically told him and his brother, you got 24 hours to get off the island or you're going to die. And they went to the consulate there because we still had a U.S. consulate there at the time, told them what was going on, and the U.S. consulate gave them emergency passports, like instantaneous citizenship, and gave them $400 cash and dropped them in Mexico and said, have a nice life. And they worked their way from Mexico to come to America, but they had American passports already. They came here, they came across the border legally, walked into El Paso, and didn't speak much English, but they spoke enough to find a job. And the one guy, he saw a help wanted sign and went to sign up for a job and wound up in the army. And that was the second army he had been in because he'd already served in the Cuban army, not willingly, but they don't have a
yeah,
choice over there. So, you know, there are circumstances where people need help, but we can't help everybody and we can't feed everybody.
Yeah, we're not the fucking world police here, guys. I
But
mean, come on.
the point is the world looks at us in that way, right? And here's the thing. I learned this in college. The seats of power in the world, right? The seat of monetary power is always Great Britain. They always got big money, right? The seat of political power is France. They invented politics. The seat of religious power is Rome. But since the day this country was became a country, right, became gained its freedom, we are considered the seat of military power. We are the ones that everybody in the world looks at for military power, weapons technology, tactical
Well, I mean,
knowledge.
we can't do weapon technology anymore because has shared so much with China right
Well,
now.
so did
They're even
Clinton.
finding they're like, oh well, he can't. They're not adversaries. They need to be blah 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 blah. I'm like, if you're sharing our technology, so if we do go to war with China or Ukraine or Russia or wherever the hell we may go next, our technology that we have worked years, billions, trillions of dollars that we have went in the fucking hole for is now open to the world market to the highest bidder, China. I mean, that's like these guys that make an invention and patent, and some Chinese dude takes a picture of it, and now all of a sudden you got fucking 9 billion fucking fidget spinners in a goddamn landfill because
Or
them
or
things, those things lasted a whole day and a half fast. All right,
but look at the copies of Kawasaki and Honda.
yeah, those two. We were just looking at Chinese motorcycles and
Yeah.
stuff. I was looking at one of the Amazon boat motors just to, put on a small boat to get across the lake and play with. But
Yeah.
hell, the Mercury I want $900, and I can get the boat motor from Amazon for like 450, and it's a 6 horse instead of a 9.
Yeah.
Ooh, wow! What does it matter?
But I mean, you look at some of the copies that they're making of like Honda and Kawasaki, the parts are interchangeable,
Oh yeah.
but you're buying the Chinese bike for 3 grand.
Oh, me and Brian went up to that power sports place up there in Louisville before you get to Dream Machine,
Mm-hmm.
dude. They had a 1,000 cc four wheeler for like 10.4 or 10.5. In other words, $11,000. But the thing looked just like a damn Polaris Sportsman.
Mm-hmm.
Except the headlights were different, but the racks, I mean, the thing almost looked like a sports.
The parts are all interchangeable.
Yeah, it looked just like they were, but I mean, except the headlights and shit. A
But the
couple
thing
different things,
is,
but
that stuff's being built by prison labor, by conscripted labor. It's not, you can't compete. Let's just be honest. You can't reasonably compete in a market where your competitor has free labor.
oh yeah, that's the whole thing, you know. Uh, that's why you actually see a lot of Hispanic building companies now, because before, them guys were just handymen or whatever, and they were undercutting them on labor and giving them, you know, doing their markup on materials.
Mm-hmm.
But oh,
What?
I'm still on here.
Yeah, I'm looking at you.
I don't know what the because I needed to log in. Whatever. As long as you see me and y'all can hear me, I don't give a damn about none of that. Can't see it right now. But yeah, that in the Hispanic community, they have built, you know, they undercut them on labor. They still pay their guys good, but I mean now, well, I mean now. Vince is like part how they got they got them. Got other contractors. That's my favorite.
Well, I mean, you look at where we live here in Texas, right? Texas wouldn't be Texas without the Hispanic community. It wouldn't be Texas without the black community that's been here forever, right? It wouldn't be Texas without the rich history of all the people that have been here for so long, you know. And we've lost that because of what's going on. I still remember when, you could be in El Paso and just walk over into Mexico and they could walk over here, and but you just walked through the gate. You didn't go through the river, you didn't have to. You were allowed to come and go during the day, you know. Then all of a sudden you had to have a passport to go to Mexico, but the Mexican people don't have to have a passport to, they don't ask them for a passport. And then last time I was in El Paso, they told the military no more going to Mexico, period, because of
Yeah.
everything going on over there. But the problem now is it's not Mexican people coming across the border. It's not, Honduran and Guatemalan. It's not South Americans. It's Haitians and Jamaicans and Afghans and Iraqis and Iranians and Chinese and Koreans. Like, I'm sorry, if you that downtrodden, how the hell did like I've seen Haiti, okay? I've been to Haiti. And I'm gonna say something and people gonna get mad at me, but I've been to Haiti, and when President Trump called it a shithole country, it was an upgrade. Okay,
Yeah.
good people for the most part. I mean, I didn't meet any, well, with one exception over there, one bad person I met, but for the most part, they were good, hardworking people. They get up every day, they go to work. Most of them work in agricultural type stuff because that's mainly what goes on the island. They're kind of some of them are kind of nomadic. They kind of roam around, whatever. But for the most part, they were good people. But the country was in a shambles when I was there because they'd had a earthquake and then a tsunami, and I thought it was really funny that you know all the stuff that needed to be built there, and I was over there as a medic sitting on a construction site watching our engineers build public restrooms, which nobody over there used but us. Like when they got to pee, they just stop and pee. Like why, if of all the things you needed to build these folks, a place to pee wasn't it.
How about roads and schools and
Well,
electrical?
I told you we gave that one. One guy came over and talked to our engineers. He was the head man of the little village there by the project, just down like a few hundred yards through the bushes over there, and came over and talked to him. Oh, we're living in huts made of plastic bags and everything. Man, the engineers went and they got a whole truckload of supplies, wood, tools, nails, screws, everything they needed. They could have built a whole damn town, and took it over to them and presented it to them, and everybody was happy. And that night there was a big fire over there, and they ran over there to see what was going on, and they were burning all the wood to make charcoal because they could sell the charcoal for $1 a pound down at the market. Like, how about build yourself a house so you can get out of the damn rain over there, right? And get up off the ground. But it doesn't work that way. And it's sad when you see because Haiti as a country had the potential for greatness. That was the first and only successful slave revolt in history. That was a slave colony, and the slaves took over. And they set up an education system. I mean, they were very well educated for many, many years. But then their government got corrupted and started taking all their money. You had Papa Duck and all them over there, and and the people live on nothing. Most of them. Now, there's part of the island where the rich folks have like palaces almost, along the beach. But man, you go up in the top of the island, they done, I don't know, ate or burnt whatever if you look at the statistical data on the island, in 1973, the whole island, which is Haiti and Dominican Republic, right? The Haitian side of the island was 73% forest. When I was there in what 2011, 2013, the island was like 2% forest. It literally looks like the moon. I think your video froze, dude. Are you there? Yeah. But anyway, you see places like that, and then you come home. I mean, you were in Afghanistan and all that, and you come home and you damn glad to be here.
Oh yeah.
But the problem is the people that ain't glad to be here are the people that ain't never fucking left here.
Well, that's the whole thing. These some bitches want to sit here and they want to talk about like even the kids now. They're so worried about how they look, how their image, how people look at them, and they want to make everybody fucking happy. Guess what? Not everybody's going to be happy.
Not everybody's gonna like you.
Yeah, I got people that I can't stand, people that can't stand me. You know what we do? If we got
Avoid each
a
other.
call, hey, how you doing? How's it
Yeah.
going? And I just keep walking. There's some people I don't even say, "Hey, how you doing?" Because I could give a fuck less how they're doing. If they fell and broke every bone in their body and on fire, I wouldn't piss on them to put them out. But I mean, I don't go around them. I stay away from them. I don't
Hmm.
fuck what they think of me. Here, not my position. That's not my position to care what you think. My position is I've got to live day to day to day.
Hmm.
And if you're not in it, so people, these kids don't even understand now. 20 years ago, when a bullet goes down range, your whole perspective of life changes when you're in. So even though some of us couldn't shoot and they were like hitting shit 700 miles away, I mean, that's what don't shoot it or a bomb or whatever. Like
Hmm.
you're still, you don't worry about the menial bullshit of life. All you think about is you got to survive and get out. And these kids now, they've never had to survive and get out of it. So everything's great, good, and lovely.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like most kids now, when you talk about struggle in life, their idea of a struggle meal is Domino's,
Yeah, right.
you know, or man, it was terrible. We had to eat McDonald's. Shit, I remember days when my family would have been happy as hell. We could have got McDonald's.
2 pieces of bread, some butter, and some damn sugar if you lucky.
I remember eating mayonnaise sandwiches,
That too. And if you
or
had a fresh tomato, you were lucky.
or sometimes if we had not a lot, and my mama was feeling fancy, we had peanut butter and mayonnaise sandwiches.
Nah, that's all you, bro.
Do I?
That's all you, bro. I don't
Yeah,
do butter.
I don't eat them no more. They didn't like them that much then, but and give mama the
You
credit.
hungry, you got to eat something. It don't matter, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm trying to figure out why we're spending. How in the fuck are we spending trillions of dollars? Like
What?
$10 trillion. That's more. I, hold on one second. I gotta Google something. I have to Google.
Well, here's the thing: we're borrowing money, right? We're borrowing money, but we pay farmers not to grow product. We're borrowing money, but we limit our automakers on production of product. We're borrowing money, but we tell dairy farmers they can only literally dairy farmers have milk they have to throw out because they have too much milk. They're not allowed to have that much, not allowed to produce that much milk. Does that make any damn sense?
Yep, yep, it sure does because where I'm from in East Texas, I was looking at land up there.
Yeah.
Dude, there is parcels of land in Pittsburgh, Texas, all up in that area, which everybody knows Pilgrim's Fried Chicken used to be up there, and whatever they went to.
But
Uh,
my point is,
the whole thing is, though, is there's hundreds of chicken houses out there, thousands, millions of dollars of metal out there just rotting away. But that we have a chicken crisis, we have egg crisis, we have all this other shit. It's,
but this is the part I don't understand. Okay, well, I mean, I understand what they're doing, but I don't understand the mentality. So let's say you have a company that makes widgets, right? And I have a company that make widgets. If my company can make as good a better quality widget than you, and I can make it 10 times faster and sell it for $2 less, but still play within the rules of the game, why would the country be mad, right? That what they should be mad at is your company. They should be coming to you going, "Hey, Greg's company is producing it for this at this rate. Da, 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 da. What's wrong with your company?" But instead, we do the same thing we've done in schools all these years. We keep dumbing it down. Well, now we're going to drop the requirement down to this because little Johnny feels bad about himself because he ain't as smart as Tommy or Julie or Johnny or Jenny, right?
Mhm.
So we got to slow down our production because they claim it's hurting the rest of the world. Well, guess what? Catch up. If you can outproduce us and do it legally and morally and ethically, do it. But if you can only do it with free labor and cheap crap, go home.
uh, most of it. So apparently, what I'm looking at is most of these websites I've seen is about okay. That one's a little different, but everything else is showing around. Okay, so we're all about $2 trillion for the Iraq War.
Uh-huh.
1.1 and then another. Oh no, I'm sorry. 1.9 and then like another 2.4 trillion long-term price tag. That,
Well, how much?
that's nothing compared to why in the fuck does the administration need $10 trillion? That's a 20-year price tag. 20 years.
Not for the government because they'll be over there next year arguing they need more money.
Yeah, yeah,
But
because they'll blow the money right now on stupid shit.
but
Like,
here's
hey, we're gonna give the San Francisco uh, reparations board $175 trillion or $1 billion. That's just for San Fran. There is no way in the hell they can afford that throughout the country.
I'm telling you, if they start paying reparations, I'm gonna be in Washington with a sign protesting. I want them to reenact the Three-Fifths Compromise.
I also want them to reenact
The
uh,
reason
like
being, I'll get my money then.
13th Amendment of the United States Constitution, which says no lawyer or judge can be a politician.
Well, my thing is, if you reenact the Three-Fifths Compromise and start reparations, and people like me get paid
Yeah.
because it goes back to that one drop.
Oh, well, the hell, I get paid too. I'll go do my little ancestry DNA. When that shit first came out, I was like, you know what? But at the same time, it's for people that need benefits and stuff like that.
Well, there's more
I
to it.
can have the 3 fifths, but
There's more to
everybody
it.
has a little Indian blood in it.
Oh, yeah, I ain't just talking about Indians. I was talking about other blood too. But
Well, yeah, I mean,
I got ancestors from all over the damn world. My family was getting busy before getting busy was a term. But no, there's more to the DNA thing though. Like when you do your DNA, they can find out other stuff for you too. Like, are you prone to certain diseases? Are you prone to heart problems? Are you prone to different? Oh, there's a whole list of stuff they can find out that's helpful. And of course, there's a bad side of doing your DNA. Somebody could take your sample, and if somebody wants to clone me, more power to them. Shit, if the world needed two of me, God would have figured that out a long time ago.
There ain't enough world to do it beyond
But there's benefits to it too, to having your DNA done.
well, yeah, I know, and I understand that, and ancestry and all that
I
other
know you do.
shit, but it's just one of those things that it and conspiracy wise, everybody's like, oh, well, the government is going to log your DNA.
Dude, if
I'm
you've
in the
been,
military. That motherfucker's
yeah,
already all tracked, signed, sealed, delivered. Hell,
yeah,
the first time I said I want to go in the military, they done had a finger up my ass
yeah,
and had my teeth uh impressions and everything before I ever said I want to go in the military.
yeah. If you've been in the military and you're afraid of people getting your DNA, that's like if you've been in the military and you're afraid of somebody getting your social security number. You just stupid.
Yeah, I mean, you get my social security number, hell, you all you gonna end up with is a bunch of debt and bad credit. So go ahead.
I keep telling folks I wish somebody would steal my identity so I could get a credit rating.
Right? That motherfucker gonna look at my shit. He be like, "Wow, here I'll help you pay some of this off."
It's like they open up my bank account, they'll be like, shit, I got to put money in there so I can rob him.
but man, but one of those deals. There's, and I ride through some of this nicer areas of Dallas. I see a lot of veterans in those big $1 million homes, stuff like that. More power to them. I'm proud of them. They did their job. They did their service, and now they're well off and all that. That's good. But sometimes I'm saying to say that you get where they
Well, that family that my son got a scholarship from, that Jack got a scholarship from, the Muse family. The dad's a Air Force veteran. He's a former Air Force officer and all that. And he came back, to Dallas and used his education and his experience and everything. And he built businesses and everything. And now him and his wife have built their wealth up, and they're philanthropists all over town. But you don't see their face plastered everywhere. They just go calmly about doing their thing.
yeah, they don't want to be like, hey,
It's
yeah, of
not. It's
course,
not.
I
Hey,
gave
look at
this
me.
place money.
Yeah.
No, it's just one of those things that they're like, hey, here's the check. We don't want
Yeah.
to just find that little bitty block right there that they put our name on.
But I mean, Jack still gets like a newsletter from them, and they keep track of their people that they gave scholarships to, like how you doing, and I mean, it was a really cool thing for him. You know, uh, he got to go to, they took all the scholarship recipients to a nice restaurant. They had all the scholarship recipients over to their house. My wife went over to pick him up at their house, and she's like, their foyer is the size of our house.
Yep.
But they earned every dollar of it.
Yeah. No. And there's a lot of them out there that have,
I
and
mean,
I'm happy for them. I'm proud of them. Thank
you
God
know, it,
for them. Because those people probably most of the ones that done really well for themselves give back.
yeah.
It's the
Well, I
ones
mean,
that can give that don't.
my thing is anybody that worked and earned what they got, regardless of what they do with it, you have to respect the fact that it's theirs. They earned it, right? You would like to see people that have the ability to give to people that really need it, you know, but or organizations that help people. You'd like to see them give the things you believe in, but they're going to give to whatever they believe in, and that's their money. They can do what they want with it, and that's why I have a problem with this current administration's attack. I think I find it funny that these wealthy people in government are attacking the wealthy. You know what I mean? Like, oh
Well,
well, you
that's because they have enough money they can pay cash for all that shit.
Well, it's like
They
this.
don't have to worry about financing and all that.
It's like this mortgage thing they came up with the other day. There was the like if you make over $400,000 a year and you have a credit rating of say 800 or whatever, when you go to buy a house, you have to pay an extra fee for being frugal and taking care of your money. You have to pay an extra fee so that somebody with bad credit like me can buy a house they can't afford.
Yeah.
Like I'm just honest. I don't have good credit, but I don't go out there trying to buy shit I can't afford either. If I buy something I can't afford, it's because I had no other choice.
Well, I can't
But
afford this house.
I mean, my wife and I do everything in the world not to buy anything we don't need. We always have. We've never really had any money either, but we had 4 kids. All of our kids had a roof over their head and food in their belly, and they went to decent schools. And they, I mean, I got one that's an officer in the Air Force. I got one, and one that's an officer in the Air Force is working on his PhD. I got my middle son is working on his master's degree. My daughter went most of the way through school to be a speech pathologist and is talking about going back now. And my youngest one, he's in a magnet school program where he's more interested in working with his hands, and he's gonna get out and you know work on cars. Well, guess what? People always gonna need their car worked on.
No, no,
Yeah.
no, 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 they're not. 'Cause we're all going to be electric by
Well,
2035, bro.
somebody's gonna have to work on them electric cars.
They even got that damn electric Jeep, and somebody's like, "Oh, you can go 21 miles on a charge," and I'm like, "What the fuck? 21 miles in my truck? That'd be lucky if I go to the fucking gas station and back." So what the hell is the point?
But if you notice with the electric vehicle thing, Jared, this is a theory I have. They're using the electric vehicles to restrict travel. Think about it. If I got a gas car, I can get from Dallas to Los Angeles in about 23 hours,
Right?
right? If I got an electric car, I can get from Dallas to Los Angeles in about 40 hours.
Yeah, because you got to stop and charge, stop, charge, stop.
That's I still don't know how people are going like from you can't go from El Paso to Los Angeles in an electric car
Uh,
because once you
I
go
don't
west
think
west
but
west of El Paso,
if you go up through Amarillo on 40, yeah, but if you go 10 through El Paso, nah.
right.
You get
So
past the border checkpoint, there ain't shit through New Mexico to Arizona to California.
yeah, you might be able to charge your car up where like Tucson or something.
Better find all those bigger cities to start fucking rerouting your shit. Then you're looking at like 45 to 46 hours.
Exactly. So they're using it to restrict travel. It's just like
Well,
the
they keep restricting it. They talking about banning plastic and shit. I'm like, how the hell you gonna build plastic electric cars if you gonna ban plastic, dumbass? 90% of a fucking vehicle nowadays is plastic. Everything we use is petroleum based. Your laptop.
well, that's like the whole thing about getting rid of plastic drinking straws because a turtle got one up his nose. You know how to solve that problem? Make the drinking straw bigger around than the nostril on the turtle.
Smarter than a fifth grader, I guess. I mean,
I,
I don't know why the hell they so worried about these turtles. Motherfucker, I killed 3 turtles today. 3 while I was fishing. Not on purpose, but they worried about turtles. Motherfucker, there was 900 turtles in front of me and like 6 snakes.
well, yeah, but they're talking about sea turtles.
Some sea turtles. Tell them don't be so stupid.
Again, just make the straw bigger than the average nostril on a turtle.
Well, tell them to take their ass out of the Caribbean waters where they dumping the cocaine, homie.
Or how
They
about
over there,
this?
they over there high as a kite snorting.
How about
Yeah.
this? Stop cities like New York from dumping their trash in the ocean.
New York is sinking. that?
No, but
They had the engineers out there saying that New York has sank so and so foot, and and I was like, you built a city on a swamp.
well,
That's like being in New Orleans to say, oh, our hurricane flooded our city. You built your city in a floodplain.
yeah. Well,
That's wet.
Mexico City's the same way. It's been sinking since the day it was built.
Yeah, that wasn't.
It was built in the middle of a lake.
Yeah, it wasn't built to be built like that in there. And then they got all these billion-pound fucking billion-ton skyscrapers up there with all that metal and shit. Yeah, it's heavy. So that soft ass dirt underneath is just gonna settle. Well, my house is settling like
Well, you can't go by where we live, dude. This black clay dirt. We basically live on a waterbed.
yeah, it's always try to. They're like, you gotta drink your foundation or water your foundation, and that shit don't help. Hell, I had a motherfucking slab leak and my shit was still fucking getting thrown off because of it. Man, we've been on for about an hour. I'm gonna go ahead and call it off tonight.
All right, brother.
I'll holler at you tomorrow, bro.
Later.
I'll text you about this weekend. See what's going
We got a graduation this weekend and a big funeral get together. It's like a family reunion for Holly's uncle that died several months ago.
on. Oh,
So
okay.
we're gonna be tied up all weekend probably.
Okay, good.
But
Because Mel's birthday's Friday, and
oh crap. Uh, yeah,
but Saturday they're doing that girls thing. So I forgot about that. Y'all were going out of town for that.
we're trying to figure out if they're gonna get paid on Friday or not.
That's what we're trying to figure out.
If they don't, we might not be going nowhere this weekend.
Amen to that.
Because my little escapade fixing the car put a dent in my budget. And now I've decided I'm going to go ahead and buy tires before I do anything else because I'm having to air up a tire like every day.
Let's go down there and get a used.
Huh?
Go down there and get a used.
I don't want to get used ones right now. I want to get one new set of tires that I can drive on for a good while so I don't have to worry about it. Because we're trying to pay her car off and then I'm going to start doing all the maintenance on her car. And she ain't had new tires since she got that car.
I'm just gonna pull the diff on my truck and change, clean
Yeah.
all that out. I've got to change it.
All right, brother. I'll talk at you later.
All right, bro. I'll holler at you later.
Have a good one.